Hey Pilates teachers, it's Linda Lippin here from Linda Lippin Pilates, the Pilates Teacher Mastermind program, and the Pilates Profit Lab. I wanted to talk to you today about genuine fear of putting yourself out there online versus imposter syndrome. Because I've been seeing a lot of comments in different groups from Pilates teachers talking about their years and years and years of imposter syndrome. And it got me thinking, as somebody, who also coaches for mindset, that when we identify personal blocks in our minds, like imposter syndrome, the point of that is to not define ourselves by those limiting factors and beliefs, but to see that they are simply limiting beliefs that can be changed, and then change them and move on. Okay. So imposter syndrome is not the same as having a fear of putting yourself out there online. Now, this came up because another lovely Pilates teacher had asked whether people would find it useful to have a group where they could upload photos and videos of themselves doing different exercises in Pilates and get, constructive feedback. And this immediately caused fear and consternation in many people, because I think, as we've all seen over the course of time online, people can be really, really mean. Okay, so there is a legit reason to fear putting yourself out there online for constructive criticism, and people's ideas of what constructive criticism look like can be and sound like can be very, very different. But as I was going through the comments to this question, I noticed a lot of folks talking about their imposter syndrome and how they would never put themselves out there in a group because they've always had imposter syndrome. And no. You've always had a fear of putting yourself online in a group. That's different. What imposter syndrome means is it's a limiting belief that you really don't know what you're doing. And this is a belief that needs to be pushed past so that we can up our game and expand our businesses and do all the things. So what I want you to think about is that if you tend to use imposter syndrome as a fear or a reason to not do things, I want you to start to look at that and think instead, why is this my belief? Because you're going to come up with tons of reasons why it's not true, right? That you're a successful teacher, that you have clients, that you teach online, that you demonstrate for these clients, that you demonstrate that you do Pilates in classes, that you do Pilates around other teachers, that none of them freak out about how horrible you are. So there's no legitimate reason for having the belief that you shouldn't be putting yourself out there. Okay? There is a legitimate reason to fear doing it because of basically how assholes in the community can make you feel by leaving nasty comments and nasty criticisms of what you've done. So again, fear and imposter syndrome are not the same thing. We need to be able to separate them. And it's hard too, because, within the Pilates world, we do see ourselves and other people being treated and dealt with in very nasty ways by members of the same community. So I'm just leaving you guys with that. If you have genuine imposter syndrome and want to push past that, there are ways of doing that that do not involve necessarily having to put your stuff out there in groups where people might attack you. So if you're interested in a safer space for Pilates teachers, I created one. It's called Pilates Profit Lab. If you just go over to pilatesprofitlab.com, you can register. You'll be on my email list and you'll get a link to join the group. I would love to see you there, where we have a more elevated approach and discussion to teaching Pilates in your Pilates business. Talk to you soon.